Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This is BCIT News, and I'm Kai Garcia, your host for today. And this is your news headlines at 3. Now we're starting with the weather. It's starting to get gloomy. Metro Vancouver is experiencing its first largest rain in September this year. To the dismay of many commuters, our BCIT News reporter Joe McHugh has more.
Experts warn that you should exercise caution near creek beds and low-lying areas, as the lower mainland is hit with its first significant rainfall of the season. David Phillips is a climatologist with Environment and Climate Change Canada, who's monitoring the situation.
This amount of rain that we're seeing today, up to 60 millimeters of rain in some places, could lead to some flooding, flash flooding. It could lead to water pooling and ponding and washouts in certain low-lying areas and creeks.
It's not all bad news, though, as according to Phillips, the Metro Vancouver area is overdue for a rainfall event to fill up its reservoirs and help in the ongoing wildfire fight in Peachland. Joe McHugh, BCIT News.
Because of this drastic change in weather, the flu season is coming, so doctors are urging people at risk of serious illnesses, including children, to get a flu shot when it is available next month. Pediatric infectious disease specialist Dr. Jesse Pappenberg speaks more on why it's important to get you and your kids vaccinated this season.
I think the key point is here that the influenza vaccine is not perfect, but it still reduces the risk of requiring medically attended a visit to an emergency department, a hospital, or even mortality. It reduces that risk by half.
Now in world news, all eyes were on D.C. as U.S. President Donald Trump spoke on foreign affairs today at the White House, most notably about the war in Gaza, when Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the White House earlier today. Reporter Karen Travers has more on the meeting.
President Trump spoke following a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but he said repeatedly that Hamas needs to agree to this proposal.
If accepted by Hamas, this proposal calls for the release of all remaining hostages immediately.
So while Netanyahu expressed support for the plan, he wasn't asked whether he's 100% on board with everything put forward by the White House.
I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Staying in world news, Moldova gave a speech at the UN General Assembly following the election last Sunday. They are being praised for rejecting pro-Russian groups. Charles de Ledesma reports on how Moldova gave the pro-Western governing party majority in their parliament.
The vote was seen as a choice between East and West. European leaders praised Moldova for reaffirming its commitment to a Western path and potential EU membership. The governing pro-EU party securing 50% of the vote. Moldova, a former Soviet republic, has been a geopolitical battleground between Russia and Europe, but has embraced the Western path. Leaders say, though, the election faced alleged Russian interference, including cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns. Landlocked between war-torn Ukraine and EU member Romania, Moldova was a Soviet republic until it proclaimed independence in 1991. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
In national news, the federal government wanted to promote their Buy Canadian policy as they get firms to prioritize domestic products. In partnership with the Ontario government, they offered $500 million in loans to Algoma Steel to help them relocate from America. The company relied on U.S. for most of its businesses. CEO of the company, Michael Garcia, said that the market is closed to the Sault Ste. Marie-based firm. Federal Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu commented on what it can do for Canada.
to have a Canadian company like Algoma Steel committed to being in Canada, built in Canada with Canadian input is very, very critical to our sovereignty, and I would say to our ambition as a country.
In the world of technologies, companies that use Spotify software can now sell products through ChatGPT conversations. Shopify is a Canadian e-commerce software company that struck a partnership with the US tech company OpenAI to make this possible. This will allow merchants to be discoverable by artificial intelligence when someone asks ChatGPT for recommendations, and they will be eligible for immediate purchases through the software. The company says the integration will be seamless, so potential customers will be rejected to another website and will flow directly through their software. Sticking with ChatGPT and AI, OpenAI announces new parental controls for ChatGPT to make it safer for teens. This comes after safety concerns for the youth, including extreme cases where teenagers would take their own lives using ChatGPT. The parents would have to send an email or a text invite to their teen to link accounts. Teens can also invite their parents. These new controls means that it will include automatic safeguards for teens, like reduced graphic content and restrictions for sensitive topics. Parents will have a dashboard to adjust these settings and receive notifications if their child may be in distress. In the video game industry, Electronic Arts, the video company with a location here in Burnaby, known for many iconic games, is being bought out by a group of private investors. Investopedia's Caleb Silver has more on what it means for the video game industry.
This is the biggest leverage buyout we've had in history, and we haven't had a big one in a long time, but this is a very interesting one because Electronic Arts is a very popular video game maker with titles like NBA 2K and Madden and others.
Going on to movies, Trump announces a 100% tax on foreign-made films, a vague directive aimed at protecting a business that America already dominates, he quotes, claiming that the movie production has been stolen from Hollywood and the U.S. He posted that he would impose these 100% tariffs on any and all movies made outside of the U.S. The president first issued the threat back in May and is unclear on how these tariffs would operate, since the movies and TV shows can be transmitted digitally without going through ports. Also unclear what it means for the U.S. movies filmed in foreign locations or what legal basis the president would claim on imposing tariffs. Sticking to movie and entertainment, the Huntrix, a fictional group from the most popular animated film of the summer, K-pop Demon Hunters, will perform live for the first time on October 7th on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. And they will be doing an interview with Fallon. EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami are the voice actors behind the worldwide known group and will be singing their smash hit Golden in front of the audience. The movie from the Sony Pictures Netflix gave Netflix their #1 box office title in the company's 18-year history. Breaking news in sports. The Twins fire manager Rocco Baldelli after a 70-92 season, missing the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 years. The Twins finished this year poorly as Baldelli firing came the following season after a mark by a major sell-off leading up to the trade deadline. The Twins went 19-35 after the deadline passed following the departure of 10 players from their major league roster. Only the Colorado Rockies fared worse over the final 2 months. Baldelli is 44 and he went 161 and won AL Manager of the Year award as a rookie in 2019. Staying in MLB, the San Francisco Giants fire Bob Melvin after 2 years. After the 4-0 victory against Colorado, Melvin said that he was not sure about managing the team in 2026. San Francisco finished 81-81 this season, an improvement from the 80-82 last season, Melvin's first with the team. As the Giants missed the playoffs for the fourth straight season, Giants President of Baseball Operations Buster Posey initially showed confidence in Melvin by exercising his contract option for the 2026 season last July 1st. He gives his thoughts on Melvin in this press conference.
Tremendous amount of respect for Bob Melvin. I watched him before I was in the league, competed against him for years, and always enjoyed competing with him. And unfortunately, just the way that we played throughout the course of the year, this is where we ended up. And the hope is, going forward, we can get a new voice in the room that can lead these guys to get us back to where we all want to go.
Following in the NFL, Grammy Award-winning artist Bad Bunny is set to headline the Super Bowl halftime show in Northern California in February of next year. Reporter Jennifer King has more on what it means to the superstar.
Bad Bunny will headline the Super Bowl halftime show in 2026, bringing Latin trap and Puerto Rico's reggaeton swagger to the NFL's biggest stage. The NFL, Apple Music, and Rock Nation made the announcement. The superstar, born Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, said in a statement, "What I'm feeling goes beyond myself." He says, "It's for those who came before me and ran countless yards so I could come in and score a touchdown. This is for my people, my culture, and our history." With 3 Grammys and 12 Latin Grammys, he's one of the world's most streamed artists and has become a global ambassador for Latin music. He drew hundreds of thousands of fans to his residency performances in Puerto Rico and will host Saturday Night Live on October 4th. I'm Jennifer King.
And now for the weather. It will continue to rain in Metro Vancouver, and there will be highs of 16s and lows of 13s. This was your news headlines at 3. This has been Kai Garcia for BCIT News.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
When I tell people that I study journalism, they immediately say, "Oh, you want to be a reporter." But I think, in my case personally, I really want to go into magazines, PR, social media, and I think here at school we learn a lot of skills that allow you to go into that world, because you learn how to write for social media, social content, for websites,